Well, a shocking verdict to tell you about in a most unusual trial that's focusing national attention on the gun laws in Washington, D.C. A judge finding this man guilty of attempted possession of unlawful ammunition. Now, he was arrested in 2012 after a police raid. And what did they find? A single shotgun shell and muzzleloader slugs in his home. The judge sentencing him to time served and a $50 fine, plus now he has to register as a firearm offender. We told you a little bit about Joe Wittishek's story yesterday. Now, today we have Emily Miller. She's the Washington Times senior opinion editor, author of Emily Gets Her Gun. She has been following this story very closely. First of all, how did it start? How is it that police drew a bead on this guy? What did he do to bring such attention on himself?
Well, less than 2 years ago, Mr. Wittishek was going through a nasty divorce, and his estranged wife at the time went to the police and said he threatened to kill me and he has guns in the home. When it got to a judge, he dismissed the charge, but the police took the part about he has guns in the home and went to his house and without a warrant demanded they could search it, and they did. That was later thrown out, but they came back a second time with the warrant. They searched up and down. They handcuffed Mr. Wittishek, put him face on the floor, used a SWAT team to take his child out of the shower, and in the end, they found one shotgun shell, like the one I'm holding here, and a box of muzzleloader bullets, which this is a modern bullet, so it has gunpowder, but a muzzleloader bullet would just be the top part, which is made of copper or lead, and it's something you would have to put into a muzzleloader gun and add the gunpowder and the primer to make it go. And that's how he was charged.
They didn't find any weapons. They didn't find any shotguns, any AR-15s, assault rifles, pistols.
He doesn't own. He is a gun owner. He's a hunter. He's been a hunter since he was a kid and fisherman, but he keeps his guns, his firearms, and at his sister's house in Virginia. So his wife was obviously lied about, his ex-wife obviously lied about that part, and that's why it was dismissed. So no, he was never charged with a gun. This has all been because D.C. has this wackadoodle law that in order to have just ammunition, you have to have a registered firearm. That's the only reason that I can walk into Fox News in D.C. with these. Nobody else here could because I have a registered firearm. Mr. Wittishek didn't, so that's how he went to court, and that's why the judge found him guilty on Wednesday of this crime after a 4-month trial.
He was on Fox and Friends and told the hosts what it was like when the SWAT team raided his house. I just want to play this for our viewers.
Did they put you in handcuffs?
Yes, they did. They put me and my then girlfriend in handcuffs. They herded all the children into a separate room, wouldn't all 5 children into a separate room, wouldn't let us talk to them while they proceeded to essentially ransack the house.
Now, is he a bank robber? Is he, you know, a guy that the nation needs to be worried about?
Now, John, and I'll tell you the most heartbreaking thing, and I've been written about his case and talked to him for, almost 9 months now, was in the court at the sentencing, and he had to plead for leniency. This is a man who has never had a criminal charge, and he said to the judge, Judge Morin, who's the one who convicted him, he said, I'm not a criminal. I've never been arrested before this, and they did put him in jail for the night over this ammunition. He said, I've been a law-abiding person. I support my family and my children. I've never done anything. I am a gun owner, but it's for recreational purposes, not criminal purposes. And it was just shocking that a person like that had to ask for leniency.
He is a hunter.
Yes, he is a hunter, and that's how he had the shotgun shell as a memento, and he explained to the judge that he was a hunter, and one time the shotgun shell misfired, and he kept it as a memento because the deer then hit a tree, basically committed suicide at the same time. So he got a deer but didn't shoot him. He said that that's why he had the shotgun shell. In the end, the judge didn't rule on the shotgun shell, and the government insisted that that part be kept an open charge because the judge wanted the court to open the shotgun shell to see if there was gunpowder in it, and the government lawyers as well as the police said there was no safe way that could be done in a courtroom, and they need to be done in a laboratory. It was like Law and Order couldn't make up a trial as ridiculous as this one.
What is driving this? I mean, the Attorney General for the District of Columbia is a guy who does not have to face voters, right?
Yeah, Irvin Nathan is the unelected a district attorney for D.C., and this is just his prosecutorial attack because he hates guns. But it all depends if you're friends with Irvin Nathan, because Irvin Nathan just 1 year ago decided that David Gregory, the NBC anchor Meet the Press, who illegally brought a 30-round magazine onto his set at NBC, was not a risk to public safety and to decide not to prosecute.
Right.
But somehow this same district attorney had 2 attorneys on this case at all times, these 2 prosecutors prosecuting this man, and I sat in that courtroom every time. This has been on for months, and they treated Mark Wittechek like he was a murderer. And I mean, nothing he could have done could have hurt anyone. Nothing.
So David Gregory is a fine, upstanding public citizen, but Mr. Wittechek is somehow a threat.
Yes, that's exactly how the system of justice works in D.C. You can't elect the attorney general, and if you're a rich, liberal, powerful anchor, John, I think if you came, you probably would not be able to get away with it in D.C. But at least, you know, David Gregory could, but Mark Wittechek, just a regular guy who is a hunter, you know, and that somehow being a law-abiding citizen. And I might add, you know, Mark Wittechek looked into it and found 3 murders by gun that same night that the cops were raiding his house. So it just goes to show priorities.
An awful lot of attention being paid to this poor guy. Emily, thanks for writing about it. We'll keep our viewers apprised and let us know how it goes. He's appealing, right?
Yes, he is appealing both in the technicalities of the muzzleloader bullets, but also on the Second Amendment rights, and I think that's going to be the bigger case going forward.
What a story. Emily Miller from the Washington Times. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Wow, just incredible. We're going to have to watch that.
It is crazy. The guy gets arrested for having a shotgun shell on his desk.
Unreal.
No guns. There were no guns in the house.
We're going to continue to watch that. John will stay on that. I know you will, John. Right? In the disbelief on your face.